Hello, welcome to this Ice Family podcast. On this channel, we talk everything classic, new, and upcoming for Doctor Who. Sorry, we've been away for a little bit. It's wrapping up on university at the minute, and Conrad's just chilling. But I'm busy.
And it was his birthday.
And it was my birthday, so things just piled up, and I needed a break from uni. But it's right. I'm pretty close to actually finishing it all. Actually, I kind of finished my last assignment. Kinda last night, like at least a major chunk. Not that anyone really cares, but I'm gonna use this platform.
Nick.
This is my platform. I can say what I like on it.
I'm very happy for you.
Thank you, thank you. It means a lot. Yeah, it was a little reflective essay, but yeah. So it means though, having 3 weeks, we actually have some stuff to talk about. Though most actually happened this week. So the past 2 weeks there really wasn't anything. So go figure.
Much, yeah.
So yeah. Big one, and funny enough, we were going to talk about animations anyway, because you introduced it, yeah.
Like I was just thinking about it, and I was just like, they announced Web of Fear, the animated episode 3, like ages ago at this point.
About 6 months, it must be.
It kind of vanished off the face of the earth. But like that sort of happened before for like some of the other animations. Like they announced the faceless ones way in advance, and then it just kind of went quiet for months and months before they popped up with that alongside. I think the Web of Fear, Fury from the Deep announcement was kind of not too long around the same time.
It was Fury of the Deep Gap was crazy. That must have been like a year,
something like that.
That one, because they showed the logo way before anything else.
Well, we got a teaser, I think, when they first announced it.
Oh, yeah, with the bit of the bubbles.
There was like a small teaser. Yeah. That was kind of it. So I was just thinking, since that's gone quiet, maybe... And given the kind of strange announcement pattern, I was thinking maybe, we are kind of about the point where we're due for another one. And actually, I was particularly thinking that because I realised that, because of course, at the same time as they had the Web of Fear animation announced, they also revealed the newest Steelbook, which is just about to come out, which is the Series 8 one. I think we're both at the same time, more or less.
Yes, the Series 8 one was ages ago. No, what they announced on the 50th was the 50th special. The specials.
It was the 50th special. But that's
Steelbook and the Web of Fear one. It was on the anniversary, wasn't it? Because they did it all at once, which was so obvious that they were going to do that.
But I just saw that was about to come out, so it just kind of got me. Wait a second, what happened to Web of Fear? And I was thinking, well, if that's probably going to resurface at some point,
it still hasn't got a release
hopefully
date.
Relatively soon. That maybe we get another announcement.
There's no release date currently.
Last time, so I figured that would be something to talk about this week. And then I see this Web of Fear, Evil of the Daleks animatic leaked thing pop up on my feed from Josh Snares, who, if you haven't seen him, good channel.
It was
good stuff.
It was a good video. And yeah,
he does some really good stuff. Like he did like a great mini series about how the missing episodes were found, the different circumstances and the uncertainties about certain things. So he does some really good stuff. So
nice. I'll check those out. I haven't watched those. I'll look into those. But yeah, so obviously he found this video, and he starts by saying, usually I don't believe in the speculation, but when he's got good evidence, he will. And he basically found on this tiny little channel 2 scenes of Evil of the Daleks, basically, which is, it's definitely real. Like the amount of effort and just what's in there, it's too like good, and like I don't see anyone wasting their time making like half model Daleks to try and trick people. I think if people were trying to trick people, they'd show like a finished product. I feel like that would be the case, right?
And it's been taken down now too, so
right. Well, there we go. That's so evidently now real. Yeah, I think most of what happened was the guy thought he was uploading it unlisted. And they just weren't. So when he was sending the links to people, and you can't tell a video's unlisted because obviously you get sent the link and you click on it, unless you're looking for the unlisted thing, which usually you just when you're just going along with your job, you're not going to be looking out for that, right? So I feel like that's just they were just using YouTube as a platform just to share these videos, which I find odd. Usually, like WeTransfer is a much safer way of doing that.
Yeah, well, in particularly since you have to deal with YouTube compression.
Yeah.
in kind of this sort of transfer, and it's less secure. I assume, I hope they're not using that as a way to just send videos over between one another. I mean, we did that.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked fine for us.
Oh well, they wouldn't
But
be
that's because
downloading it.
we're not wanting the kind of quality
of
that you would want
I
for
don't
a
think
full-on release.
I don't think it was that they were sending it via
No.
YouTube to show it. I think as in they download it and put it into their thing. I think it's just a look. This is what I've mocked up for this scene.
Yeah. Sure.
Do you like it? Because there's no point like adding all the textures and everything to the Daleks until you're like, yes, lock this in. Then you add all, you know, the color, which I still see so pointless doing colored versions of black and white stories, but whatever. Even of the Daleks, I guaranteed to be coming out, right? Like that's definitely the next one. Those videos were like 2020 as well.
Yeah. Although I would say that I don't know if it would be the next or not, mainly because like there's certain things we thought could be next, even with evidence. Like, so we had the whole Wheel in Space debacle, which I still don't know what was
right?
Up.
Why animate the first 7 minutes? Like, why?
Yeah, I don't understand. So I sort of think that, and maybe as far as like just creating animatics are concerned, I mean, maybe they've got like a backlog of these things. It's just a thought I had, is that, you know, if they have like a lot of, you know, these artists kind of doing animatics, they could, you know, potentially be having like multiple and various stages of being planned, right? So, you know, whether or not this is the next one or not, I guess we'll see. But, you know, certainly means it's coming, and it's likely coming sooner rather than later, which is,
I mean, if they were
good.
if they were 2020, right, those videos, they would have been locked in ages ago, right? Because they would basically finished scenes without just the textures. So,
well, in terms of how they're framed, sure, but yeah, of course it's still an animatic, so, you know.
Yes, yeah, they'd have to like smoothen them out, for sure. But
I'd actually animate them.
Yeah,
you know.
But they've got the models, right? So it's not too.
The basic scene is there.
Yeah.
It's just doing the rest of it.
But it's quite a few episodes, isn't it? They got 6 to animate because one exists, which is episode 2.
Although they might end up animating that too.
Because I just don't get the point in wasting that time. I suppose get it.
I mean, I kind of maybe sort of get it, and you know, like when we got Web of Fear, they're not animating all of those; they're just doing the one that's missing. I think it's that more for the consistency rather than, you know, because like if you've only got like 1 or 2 episodes there, maybe it'd be weird to jump back and forth if, you know, I guess you're not quite as keen on watching the original material, you know, and just want to watch the episode in some form or another. So I guess I can kind of see it. You know, I don't necessarily think it's worth it entirely, but, you know.
It's like Wheel in Space. It's like 4 are missing. It's like, yeah, they I guess they do those as well.
Probably.
But wow, once we have Evil, we're going to have basically all of Series 1 almost. Apart from the Highlanders.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane?
Which is what was mentioned as one of the ones which they were originally kind of thinking about, but just because of the different costumes and environments.
They did changes in the Macro Terror. They just didn't change the characters' costumes.
They just left Polly's hair short the entire time rather than having it cut. 2 different versions of her. Yeah, because she got a haircut in the episode partway through the original.
But like that kind of stuff, like just keep the costumes the same, like unless it's like pinnacle to the plot, right?
Yeah.
That they change, and just leave them the same. Like I wouldn't care about that. I'd more like to see it, you know, as a thing rather than, because obviously like you can listen to the audio, I get that, but they're not audio dramas. They're not, you know, they weren't made for audio, right? They were made visually, and like the narration just kind of takes you out of it. So at least having the animation just. They're basically animatics, kind of. Even like the full flowing animation is basically an animatic of what the TV version looked like, right? And it's you know, it just brings it together so much more. And I really hope that they do the Abominable Snowmen, because I really want to see that full story. And I've heard.
I'm sure that's on the list, right?
But also, why is the first Doctor getting no love at all? Like,
I guess it's just you know, reuse of assets. I think primarily, you know, they have the Patrick Troughton and the Fraser Hines, you know,
Yeah,
basic
basic.
frames and
Yeah.
talking frames and the different animations and such, and they can just kind of keep using that. I think's more the case, and then once they've done what they want to do with Patrick Troughton, they might move on to William Hartnell.
I
Of course,
really
Sharda
want.
was the exception there, but that was just so that they could
Oh
get a
yeah,
scene
while
with
Tom Baker was.
Tom Baker while they
Well, they
could.
needed him to record the missing lines, the scenes, and get all that
And
done.
that too.
So,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, I'd love to see Marco Polo done. I'd love to have that first series just all on DVD, and then they
That'd
could
be
do
good.
the complete box set, right? The Blu-ray one, which that one would sell like crazy. The the special edition,
Mm.
£50 box sets.
That would be cool. Although I'd hope it wouldn't be exclusive to that.
Oh no! But what I'm saying is that they could do, then use complete series ones for those for the first two Doctors.
Yeah. For me, the Crusades, I think, would be one that really makes sense, given that we've already got like half of it. And,
Yeah, you'd only have to do two
It's a pretty
episodes,
popular,
really.
well-regarded one of that era.
See, for that one, wasn't it costumes as well that they were like?
That was another one that
But see, if they just do two episodes rather than doing all four, that would save them a lot of time, in my opinion. Like, just do the two, and then just so all your time on costume changes could be spent on those two episodes rather than doing all four, which is just pointless in that case.
I guess we'll see.
Because if you've got two live and two, like, to me, it's not worth it. It's like if they'd done all of Reign of Terror, like, most of that survives, so they just did 2 episodes animation, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's because a majority, I guess it depends on where the 50-50 is, like, which way do they go? Do they go animate it all? Or, like, Underwater Menace, right? That's got 2 episodes surviving now. Yeah, 2 and 3 survive. Cool. That was so cool.
I think that's probably on the list too, given the shoddy state of the original, or the kind of hurried state.
I love the artwork, though. I do love that artwork for the Underwater Menace. It's such a beautiful piece of artwork. But yeah, so I think Web of Fear, obviously, first. Then I think it will be Evil. What do you think will be next, then? Probably enough of Pat Troughton, right?
Oh, yeah. Again, it's so difficult to tell.
Well, to complete
at this point,
his
I
first
mean, there's several
series,
I'd like to see.
I'm just trying to think of what logically, right? I'm thinking, like, to complete his first series, the Highlanders would cap that off, basically, or his first run, because obviously 10th Planet and Smugglers were part of that first series as well.
Yeah.
But also to complete, to get closer to completion of his second series, Abominable Snowmen or The Weird in Space.
Yeah.
Cybermen would sell pretty well, but if you do Web of Fear and then the Abominable Snowmen not long after, I think that goes quite well hand in hand. You could even do a box set then. They haven't released a box set in so long. To just a little cardboard, the Yeti stories or something.
Yeah.
It's been so long since they've done a little box set like that, obviously for obvious reasons, but
it'd
be quite nice if they did that.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get that if they have to release a 3rd edition of Web of Fear when they find episode 3.
Yeah, whichever dick stole it. Whoever did that is the worst human being in the world. Why would you just...
I really hate these collectors that just hoard these things.
It's not even cool, right?
Because actually, I was watching, and I think I said this on like a old podcast that we did. Plus, I was actually watching an interview with like some of the people behind like restoring some of the episodes about the fact that they're pretty darn sure, and in some cases possibly even, I mean, they're kind of coy about it, but like, yeah, there are definitely other episodes that just being hoarded by collectors. Although that one was interesting because they were talking about, I think there was some family of a collector who recently passed, and they were trying to get some material off that, but who knows what that collector has. But
how long ago was that?
It was a fairly recent interview. I
Oh,
couldn't give you the
nice.
exact date at the top of my head, but
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was an evil
that.
one, and that's why they're doing the animation.
No, that'd be amazing.
Maybe that could be a case. Because I mean, you got to look at it this way. We kind of speculate that they'd save evil, right? Like, because it's the Dalek ones that are going to sell more than the others, right? So you kind of want to space those out. So like the amount of money you make from those ones then helps fund the others, right? So then you kind of you get this consistent profit across the board, because people then enjoy the Dalek ones. They're like, oh, I'll get the next one, you know. Hopefully, I mean, Doctor Who fans fucking buy anything, put a price tag on it, someone will buy it. That's just the way it is with Doctor Who fans. But
I mean, the inherent like the thing about like these collectors is that, you know, they're like, oh, you know, if we make these public and if we share these, you know, they'll lose value. But once all these
if you don't
tapes,
sell it,
succumb to tape rot, then it's gonna be worth nothing. You know, if there's like, nothing left of it, it's gonna be worth nothing.
It's like you might as well sell it, right, and then let everyone enjoy it. Like people will pay to get those episodes, right? And it's better that you just say, look, I've got this, I want some money for it, here you go, right?
Because within the next like 20 years or so, like any, you know, unsaved like ones out of the wild are likely to be beyond like saving anyway. Like we're at that point
unless they're in a good environment where it's dry and, you know, perfect conditions.
True.
But, you know, if they're in someone's attic, what chance?
Yeah, we're at kind of the end point with that, where they actually be salvageable, you know.
But I don't think we've had the last episode finds. I don't think we're there just yet. I think maybe we'll get one or two more.
No,
I don't think we'll get many more.
Yeah.
I think maybe just, you know, we'll get one here or one there. Nothing like fucking Web of Fear and Enemy of the World find, which was completely unbelievable.
And yeah, I'd love to be wrong. But I think
yes,
probably
obviously.
like the last big hole.
It's
of episodes. So
it's just so annoying because like they must be out there somewhere. Like we're sitting here talking about it right now, and in some fucking attic somewhere is potentially just this, you know, 10th Planet Part 4.
Yeah. Well, I think I said this before, but I don't think it's any coincidence that's the only part of that episode which is gone. Like I think it's being hoarded somewhere. I'm convinced.
It's weird that that's the one that's missing out of all of them. Someone must have taken it at some point and kept it. Well, my worry is some collector has it, and their kids, once they pass away, don't know what they've fucking got, and they just chuck it. No,
that's always fear.
That would be terrible, and we'd never know, and they'd never know. God. Man. But I don't get those kind of collectors. It's pointless. If you're never going to sell it, it's never got any value. And you might as well be a hero to a whole fandom than a villain. Right? Like, what do you gain out of being a villain and getting like no money out of it? You could even sell it and you'd still be a hero, right? You'd still be like, I've looked after this. Here you go. You could even lie, say you found it somewhere. Like, what the fuck would anyone really care or question, right? Like, if you wanted to hide the truth, you had to change your heart. That's what I'd do. I'd just go, like, I found this, you know, in my grandma's attic. My granddad got it years ago, and he didn't know what he had. You know, like...
Yeah.
No one's going to question it too deeply. They'll just be happy with what they've got. They'll be so distracted by the fact that they've got this thing that... Who's going to really, you know... fucking berate you for finding a lost episode, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, Space Pirates, that's one I want. I mean, they got... Do you think they'll do all of them eventually? Do you think they'll do absolutely all of them?
I don't know.
It's tough, right? Because it'd be so weird for them to stop,
tell
right?
How far they're planning to reach in terms of their... Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know at this point.
I think by the time we hit 30, we'll get Dalek's master plan. Which is like
Possibly,
7 years. I don't want to be 30 watching Dalek's master plan. Oh god, time just goes by painfully quickly. Talking of time, Out of Time 2 got announced. See, look at that
it was
segue.
already announced.
Well,
2 and
we
3
got the
were already
artwork.
announced.
Was it confirmed of what was happening in them though?
Well, not in terms of the actual plot synopsis, but we knew 2 was going to be 10 and 5, and then 3 is going to be 10 and 6.
Okay,
because
cool.
I think Sylvester McCoy was in France, I believe, at that point, so something like that. Some reason why Sylvester couldn't record.
Do one.
But yeah,
interesting. I'll do a second series of Out of Time. I'll just do Out of Time 4 at some point. Like, you know, but awesome. I do need to get the first one.
Yeah, it's a good romp.
But yeah, so Cybermen, pretty damn cool. And the 5th and 10th Doctor are hanging out again after Time Crash. Father-in-law and son-in-law. Wow.
Yeah.
What a duo.
Indeed.
Making the TARDIS domestic. But yeah, I mean, David Tennant absolutely must have been just recording Big Finish every day during lockdown. In between staged.
Feels like it. Feels like it.
Crazy. Like, how did they write all these scripts so quickly? Like, fuck. Like, such a quick turnaround,
think Big
right?
Finish have things like scripted and recorded quite a long time in advance.
In advance, right?
I think certain things may have got pushed. I mean, don't quote me on that because I don't know. But I get the feeling that certain things, like maybe long-term plans, got pushed forward depending on current, actor availability and whatnot, such like that. And so, like, if David Tennant was probably on like a normal year, he might have been doing all these other things, and like stuff like Dalek Universe and the various parts of Out of Time could have like been further away or something. Like
I guess so. I wonder what I'm wondering is how like far in advance do they plan? Did they actually have all these David Tennant series planned, or were they like, fuck it, we've got him, let's just go?
I mean, maybe there's a bit of both to it. Like I said, I don't know.
Because changing scripts or anything isn't that much, right? Like, if you want to change something, I know that David Tennant's probably fucking expensive to get to do voice work, but you can record something, and if it really doesn't work, you could be like, right, let's just re-record it. Like, audio dramas are the best like freaking things to edit or change stuff. You can rip stuff out and completely change it because it's no visual. You don't have to get everyone on set in costume and all that again. It's just it's so simple. It's just like, speak into this microphone, act, and that's it. Like that's all you got to do. Which is why it's a lovely kind of stress-free format in terms of getting it right the first time. Like, obviously you want to get it as right as possible, but if it doesn't, you could be like, well, we can just try and schedule a re-record, But I wonder, like, Dalek Universe, if that was all planned, or if this came later, like, as soon as lockdown happened and David was like, yo, I'm literally free to do anything you want me to do. Because it's an insane amount. I wonder if they've approached Matt Smith yet or anything. I wonder if they've done
that. I always think that there are probably negotiations and talks going on in the background. I think David Tennant they talked to for quite a long time before they got him on. I mean, he had been a part of Big Finish before. He was in the Dalek Empire as like one of the main characters in 3, I think.
He wanted to do other roles early on. So he just
he was kind of involved early on in Big Finish.
Shaka.
And then later on. As for Matt Smith or even Peter Capaldi, because like the current licensing goes up to the end of the Peter Capaldi era in terms of their BBC agreements, so they can't do any Whittaker, but they can do up to the end.
It's up to the last Doctor, basically. That was
I don't know exactly how the contract works, but all I know is that they can only do stuff up to the end of
the prior Doctor era. See, I think maybe Matt Smith, I mean, like, we're hitting 10, it's been 10 years now. So it'll be almost 10 years since he left in 2023. So I think by a decade, he'd likely maybe want to do something again, maybe? Like the odd one. Possibly. Not as much as David Tennant has done. No. But I feel like he'd do the odd, I can see Matt Smith doing them. I can really see that happening.
Quite possibly. I mean, yeah. Again, he's not. Yeah, I don't think he'd be as as you say, as keen as David Tennant, because David Tennant,
he's a fan of
course,
the show.
was a fan beforehand, and clearly loves being involved in there. Matt Smith not quite as closely, but like I guess we'll see. I don't know. I never know quite whether or not to like expect it or not.
What about Capaldi? Do you think he'll ever?
Well, I mean, he's more of a fan, so maybe he'd be a bit more lenient on that.
I think maybe in like another 15 years he'd do one. I think he'll be a while. I think it's like at least a decade since like the Doctor kind of left, really.
Wait, I mean, it doesn't have to be. But,
no, I'm not saying. I just mean in terms of an actor wanting to revisit a role. I think 10 years is like, wow, that was a long time ago. I wouldn't mind doing that again because you hit double digits there, don't you? I mean, for David Tennant, it was a bit under. I think what was his first one? He did the adventure with what was it?
Yeah.
It was with Catherine Tate to start with, wasn't it?
Actually, box, yeah. My big finished box.
Because I feel like that was at least 2016. Okay, so
okay.
May 2016.
I just got it as well.
I'm sorry, you're just taking too long. God damn it. But 10th Doctor Adventures, 2016. Interesting. So he came back pretty quickly, actually.
Yeah.
That must have been.
I mean, he'd already come back for the
50th. So. Yeah, I guess that set it up. He's never.
So
really
he was already kind of keen to do more with it.
Enjoying it, yeah. And it's just a lot easier, isn't it, than doing all the on-set stuff. I can see like why he left when he left on the TV series. I would have loved one more season of him.
Yeah,
I could completely get like his career was gonna boom at that point. Like it was peak Tennant fandom, and it's like you don't want to stay too long because you want those opportunities.
No.
And it's like, say he did another season, would he have got all the opportunities that he had? Like Jessica Jones, that led on to Good Omens, and I mean so many other things.
Who knows, right?
Yeah, and then obviously, Dalek Empire is now has now been announced in, which I thought that was set in a parallel universe. So
Dalek Universe.
Yeah.
Dalek Empire.
Dalek
Empire was a different series.
Dalek Universe. That's set in a different universe, right?
I think so, yeah.
So that's interesting that 10th Doctor's showing up in it. Or is this a parallel universe, 10th Doctor?
I don't know. I guess I haven't looked into it closely enough to kind of
interesting
know the exact premise. But it's cool that they're bringing elements of the Daleks master plan kind of into, I guess, more new stylings, considering a lot of the law which they established in the Daleks master plan hasn't really been touched since at all.
Yeah, I really want to watch that. I really want to see Master Plan, but I'm holding off to the animation because it will be animated. It will happen eventually. Like
it's gonna happen,
guaranteed. Right. Even if they do it in 2 parts, right? They do part 1, they release the first 6 episodes, and they do part
I don't
2.
think they have to do that. I mean, they've done pretty long form ones as is. Like the Power of the Daleks and such wasn't exactly short, was it?
Yeah, but Master Plan's double that.
I mean, true.
So I'm thinking they do 6 episodes, and then that's like part 1 on DVD, and they do part 2, and they release them in 2 parts.
I think they can do a double disc. I mean, it's not like they haven't got a.
I guess so, but that's just like
I think it'd be weird to release an episode in 2 parts because I don't think you've ever done that before.
No. War Games was all 1, but it's minimal effort when you don't have to draw them all. That's the main thing.
Like when we had like Lost in Time and such, they had like many episodes across like 3
again, like it's minimal effort, right? You're just putting them on DVD and that's it. It's not animating them and money having to go into that. Like the only money it's in your archive.
They had like a bajillion special features in that one.
True, but again, they're not like that expensive compared to like animation. Like it's so much more money goes into that. But yeah, the final bit of information, which I think is any interest is that we know that John Bishop's character Dan is from Liverpool, and he got in trouble for it. So he was on the Graham Norton show talking about
Apparently.
it, and he was talking to some kid actors university, I think it was, or college or whatever. And they were like, someone asked, "Oh, where's your character from?" And he was like, "Well, where do you think?" Speaking in his very Liverpoolian accent. He apparently got in trouble for revealing that he's from Liverpool, even though they've been shooting in Liverpool. The announcement video has him, like, the guy talking in a Liverpool accent, and they're clearly on a street. Like, oh no, I thought it was an alien Liverpool planet. Like, right? Like, we kind of all guessed
If only
he was. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But no, probably. I think a majority of this series is going to also be on Earth, which is going to be a bit of a oof. Because usually they film abroad when they do alien planets.
And again, probably as opposed to Sheffield, they'll now be centering around
Liverpool, which is nice. I like that they're moving about. Like,
yeah, as opposed to always being in
London,
London, it is nice to get like other areas of the UK kind of represented. Like, I wouldn't necessarily think that's a bad thing by any means. It's just, do they all have to be from the same time period on Earth? I mean, I know we talked about this before.
Yeah,
but, it's like,
look, it's not until it's not. There must be some issue with like the heads of BBC being like, there has to be modern day companions. I feel like that there's something. Or
but then we got Nardole, and he was
but he's like the side companion, right? Bill was still modern day, right?
But I know Bill was modern day, and I think you can mix and match is fine. But like,
man, if I go,
if you're gonna have more than one companion, why don't you go a bit wild with one of them?
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. I'm just trying to think of a reason as to why the hell none of the head runners have been inventive with their
out of all the
companions.
modern series, really only Nardole has been the only one that's
alien.
Yeah.
River Song's not really a full-time
She wasn't
companion.
a companion, and she's like she never. Yeah, she wasn't there.
John Barrowman, obviously, Captain Jack.
Again, kind of. I mean, I guess
he's not from Earth.
So... He was in like series 1, so for so few episodes.
Yeah, I still think he counts. I'd still count him as a companion.
Okay, yeah, I guess
more than River Song.
Well, exactly.
He was
why they should do more of it. It's considering how well received he.
Yeah, and Nardole was pretty well received as well.
Absolutely.
I love Matt Lucas. He was so good in it. I was kind of gutted that he left when he did. I would have liked to have seen him continue. I really enjoyed.
I mean, it was
him.
It was. I think fitting. At least in terms of the way he was written out in Doctor Falls.
Yeah. Oh, it was a good ending.
Episode.
But yeah, I like Matt Lucas a lot, and I thought he brought a real nice freshness to the show. That's why I love Series 10 so much. It was just so. Series 10 is the one series that felt most like the RTD, era. The Russell T. Because like just the format. Not super strong arcs, but still slight arcs, and and just fucking basically every episode's very decent, right? Like,
absolutely.
What a series! What a fun series!
Decent to oh my goodness, this is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't say any episode was terrible. Like even Smile, the one that I wasn't looking forward to, surprised me with being actually not too bad. Like it was like
Smile was pretty good. I think Lion of the Land wasn't too hot on.
Yeah, that one was okay, and Knock Knock was okay as well.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But like that's it. Like it was like okay. I wouldn't say like they were bad. I'd happily rewatch them again. I wouldn't dodge them if I was. Series 10 is actually the first series for a very long time that I'd watch between Series 5 all the way up to 10. 10 is the first one from 5 where I'd happily just sit through and watch the whole 1 to 12 without skipping any or wanting to skip any. Right.
That is my favorite Moffat season. Series for me personally, and a lot of people still say like 5. I'm probably not as fond of. I mean, I think it's mainly because like I didn't really like the Silurian episode, and I think a lot of people war on that. But that's like then 2 episodes, and they got stuff like Beast Below, which I never really liked.
I think it's
Well, I
actually
mean,
a bit more decent. I was a bit harsh on Beast Below, I think, when we did our review a couple of years ago.
well,
Because
yeah,
when I
I
watched it again
think
recently, there's actually a lot of elements I kind of like in it. It just doesn't completely gel together, and you can just tell that it was his least priority. Like, that was the one like Moffat just didn't have time to just perfect it. He had
yeah,
like 11th hour and the finale, which is fantastic.
yeah. I do kind of, yeah. I don't look so fondly back on our review of it, just because, like, I guess I kind of thought at that moment, oh, it's okay. Nobody likes this episode. If we just rag on it, it'd be fine. Without really actually
Analyzing it,
taking
yeah.
the time to criticize
I
it.
mean,
And
that's
we were
like
just going there
6
like
years ago
nitpick.
now. Yeah.
So,
Bloody hell.
it was like, someday, if we ever actually get reviews going again.
Wow, funny enough, talking about
Yeah,
reviews, don't you
but
have one to
that'd be
edit,
one I'd
which
like
you've
to.
sat on for like 3 months now?
That would be one I'd like to redo at some point.
Yes,
Is all I was
to
gonna
be
say.
honest, a lot of them I would like to redo. I think it's just, we just need to get
I
them
mean,
out quicker.
time, yeah,
It's just getting them
yeah.
out quicker. Once I'm out of uni and that kind of stuff goes, it'll be a bit easier just to just keep the edit format. I think simpler. There's just too many. There's too many to go into super detailed edits unless we paid someone to do the edit. But that's like money, which we don't get any from this channel, so it's not really worth it.
Yeah, well, it's not like even now I'm doing like. So there were some that which were very heavily edited, but like I think a lot of the more recent ones, I like throw up the old like Photoshop. I find some things really good, but I don't necessarily feel the need to like stop every few seconds like I had in a couple of videos and just do another Photoshop, another one.
Just more. It's like the Kylo Ren meme where it's just screaming more. But yeah, there we go. That's it. That's it for the week. I think that's everything I think of note. Doctor Who Twitter's being hostile again. What's new? That's about it.
Oh yeah, I don't even understand. Right, suddenly a friend was like, "Oh, about Kristen Eccleston positivity." It's just like, okay, nice, but it seems to have come from some weird drama which I don't understand. And then, there was other things. It's just like I don't understand.
It's
why
so weird.
you like this.
It's so weird, and it's funny when people have one opinion and people just. Like, nice people have a fair opinion on an episode which they think is not great, and people absolutely shit on this person for just having like a completely fair opinion, right? And it's like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, people are allowed to have their opinions,
Like, they can say this is bad and not have to explain it, or they're not bad or horrible because of that,
here,
right? It's just, it's whether if it's a based, reason, right? Like, if you just say it's bad and have no real reason behind it, then you could questionably look at it and be like, but do you really need to respond to it? Do you really need to interact? Like, you can disagree with something and just ignore it. Like, I think that's something that needs to be learned,
or at the very least, like, say, be a bit more respectfully, like, disagreeing with points. Like, it doesn't need to be like a big thing. Just like,
I think people are just obsessed with. It's weird. I feel like there's a whole thing of just council cultures becoming such a weird movement, and I feel like some people are so keen to be at the start, like the epicenter of causing a kind of council culture movement towards someone, like a sense of power or authority. I've seen it. I've not just Doctor Who. I'm talking like bigger now. But I just see like so many things on Twitter sometimes. I don't interact with any of it, but I can see people like sometimes really trying to like stretch and completely pull things and then accuse people of things which wasn't even related to what they were saying, like being a bigot and stuff like that, and just because of his one tiny opinion. And I think there's a real issue now of kind of heroism being crafted around some people who cause cancel culture, and then I feel like there's
that's just Twitter, isn't it?
It's a scary movement though, right? Like, that's what inspired part of my my grad project, but I wanted like to not just do it so basic. That's why I set it through events that happened in the past which are very similar to the themes of cancel culture. And like even writing that, it's scary, right? Because what happened to my main character, the true story of Private Thomas James Highgate, is that yes, he did a questionable thing of running away, or was he lost? Like, you generally don't know the truth. We generally don't know the truth. And yet they just assumed that he was, and then he got shot because they needed to scare him so that other people didn't do the same thing, right? Which isn't that exactly what cancel culture is? That someone has an opinion, so we're going to cancel them, ruin their lives, chase them off social media to then stop anyone else having this same opinion. And it's kind of scary. It's exactly the same thing, except in the past it was a little more, the guy lost his life for it. That's the extreme that it can get to, though. And it's like the scary thing of this whole movement of cancel culture, and sometimes really unfairly, very unjust. Sometimes it is completely fair. Some people are very not nice people and deserve to. But sometimes, it's like people make mistakes as well. People can say things. I've said things before to friends, and I'm like, no, that was a really dumb thing that I said. I retract what I said. I can change my mind on some things I've said, and you shouldn't be cancelled for that, because surely that shows growth and learning. And I don't know. It's just something I feel very passionate about, and this is my platform, so I'm just speaking about it now. Probably no one's gonna ever see this, so just shove it at the end. No one's gonna know.
You'll be cancelled for this 30 years from now.
Yeah, someone's gonna. Yeah, but that's the kind of thing, right? Like, I haven't said anything. It's just it's my two cents on it. Scary times on social media, which is why I don't say much in terms of anything controversial. Not that I have many controversial things to say.
No.
My God, Dan's from Liverpool. Ugh, I hate Liverpool. God. Not my Dan. Hashtag. My dad is from down here because he's my friend. Got a better Dan. But yeah, there we go. That's my controversial view. Can't believe it's from Liverpool. Disgraceful. Disgraceful.
Sure, Nick.
The worst decision that Chibnall has made so far.
Unfollowing you on Twitter.
Right, well, thank you very much for listening. Comment below what you think about the animations and all that stuff. And, you can comment on Big Finish too, I guess. There's not much to talk about.
Anything else we talked about today.
Or anything you think that we should talk about in the future. If because that would be nice to get some topics. That someone else is interested in hearing.
Somebody feed us content.
Please, we're struggling. We're literally drowning. So, thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.